All righty, everybody. Welcome to Talking Real Estate with Champions Real Estate Team here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate Company. We try to jump on every Wednesday and kind of give you a rundown what's gone on in the real estate market over the last week and bring you up to speed. So my name is Mark T. Wayne II with Champions Real Estate Team. Also joining us is Jeff Peterson with Champions Real Estate Team. And then we have Russ Williams with Arbor Bank Lending. So he can answer any of your lending questions. He also is an instructor at Results School of Real Estate. That basically, when you're getting your license, he's the guy that's teaching your finance class. So he's very knowledgeable in all the different products and things that are out there, and kind of the behind the scenes of what's going on. So that really translates well for our clients that are, maybe buying their first home or haven't bought a home in a long time, to really get you what you need in the lending side of it. So. But yeah, let's jump straight into what's gone on in the marketplace. So obviously we're about the second week here in December, or in January, sorry, just living in the past. So in 2021, so we had about 280 new listings go active this last week. We had 236 contracts written, and we had 330 homes closed on, so sold homes. So that's up from last week. As far as the contracts written, we're up about 100. New listings is about the same, which is probably typical for this time of year. Most people, what we're seeing on our team, talking to our agents, is basically, people are getting ready to put their house on the market, in that aspect of it. The holidays are over, putting everything back up in the attic or in the storage areas, and things aren't really getting too active on the new listing side. But, we're still low on our number of listings active on the market. We have 1,628 new or active listings in the entire Omaha Lincoln MLS. When we break that down a little further, we have about 800 homes that are active on the market in the Douglas and Sarpy County, kind of the Omaha metro area, which makes up a bulk of those houses. So breaking that down even further, we're sitting at about 450 existing homes on the market in Douglas and Sarpy County. New construction's about 410 that are active on the market in that Douglas and Sarpy County area. So as you can see, we're still short on inventory, but there still are some good houses out there, good prices out there. When we talk about interest rates, keeping those low. So we'll touch on with Russ here in just a second on what's going on that. So I'll show you the our trend graphics report that we show here. Pull it up. So let me move my little thingy so I can see it as well. So when we kind of look over and the December numbers kind of just came out 3 days ago on the trend graphics. So we had 13% more contracts written in December than we did the previous year. So as we're seeing that, like we touched on pretty much every week, is that there's kind of one in, one out. As one comes on the market, one's getting there, going right off the market real quick. So, but we're still seeing the number of contracts written, even though we don't have a lot of inventory, is still up from last year. So even though there's not a lot on the market, there's stuff coming off of the market as it goes on real quick. So the numbers aren't really able to keep up. We had, January or December of 2019, we had almost 3,000 homes on the market, whereas we're sitting at about 1,600 last month. So we're still seeing a lot of that going through. But, as we see the market, as we see, as we get into the spring months here, we'll see a lot more inventory come on the market, but then we're also going to see more buyers flooding the market too. So if you're still thinking about buying, I think getting active early, and finding those homes as soon as you can, and finding the right home for you gives a little bit more time. Even if you're, renting in an apartment or renting a home, want to get in that buying process, give us a holler and we can kind of get a game plan for you as you're going through that aspect of it. So let's see here. Let's jump on with Russ and see kind of what the mortgage industry is doing thus far. So how are we doing, Russ?
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, and we're good.
Perfect. Mortgage rates are up week over week. They've been rising now for the last couple of weeks, especially following the certification of the Electoral College. When you think about it, projected rise in interest rates shouldn't really be a surprise to anybody. We were at historic lows in the final quarter of 2020, so there's really nowhere for rates to go but up. How far they go and how quickly they go is obviously still an unknown. So for those of you thinking the rates ticked up a little bit and you're going to wait for them to come back down, don't wait. Go buy your house now. It's not likely they're going to come back down back to the record lows. In addition to that, of course, with the Georgia election shifting the balance of power in the Senate, we now have one party controlling the House, the Senate, and the White House. So housing experts are expecting that we likely are going to see some not only increased regulation, but some additional paperwork and possibly tax credits, other things coming down the road for housing. So be prepared to that. We obviously won't see probably anything until after the new president is sworn in on January 20th. Mortgage rates, though, generally are still a little bit below 3% for 30-year fixed rate money. 15 years are a little bit below that, but as I'd mentioned, the pressure is starting to point towards an increase in interest rates. Some industry analysts are now expecting that by the fourth quarter of this year that we could be in the mid threes for interest rates, which is still a phenomenal rate.
Yeah.
So for you that are thinking of buying a house, this is a good time to get on it. And this is also a good time to point out, we talked about this in prior calls, Mark, but if interest rates rise by just 1% and home values rise by just 5%, that's about a 16 to 18% decrease in your borrowed purchasing power. What that means is we know today you can buy a home at today's price. Interest rates, you can get today's interest rate. If you wait for interest rates to rise, possibly by as much as 1% from where they were at the all-time lows, and if home values rise by just the 5%, which I don't think is out of the realm of possibility over the next 12 months in this market, your purchasing power on finance money is going to go down by 16%, 16 to 20%. What that means is that $400,000 house that you're interested in next year is going to be a much higher payment. And to get the same payment next year as you would get today on a $400,000 house, you might be looking at a home price closer to $360,000 to $370,000. So get a hold of Mark and his team. They'd be happy to help you find the perfect home. But what else do you want to know about mortgage rates, Mark?
Well, I think they covered a lot. I think, we'll just kind of have to keep an eye on what the administration, and from what's going on in DC, what new things are going to be coming up, either there's the regulations or if there's those tax credits. And I think, time will tell ultimately, but like you said, don't wait. I know last year we had our average sold price in the Omaha Metro, the MLS, was up 14%, wow. So you're talking 5%, and if this next year, you could be, a huge reduction in what your purchasing power, if we get up to that 3.5%, 4% potentially. I know when we bought my house in 2000, when we got quoted for a rate lock in 2018, it was 5.75, and even just that's high compared to, even 3.5 sounds, crazy low, so I think our generation or the, for the last handful of years, we've just been accustomed to that, below 4%, it's always going to be that way. I know when I bought my first house in 2007, I was at like 6.25, so that was only, 14 years ago, we were at 6%, so those are things that, I think that people kind of get accustomed to, and oh my gosh, it's 4%. It's, it's outlandish. Well, it's really not when the average 40-year is about 7% on your interest rate. So I think that's something to take into account, that, you still have a great borrowing power, whether that's for a primary residence or even if you're looking at investment properties, now's the time to get in there and lock those low interest rates, low mortgage. You can, on the investment side, hopefully capitalize on some, the passive cash flow, if you get those lower interest rates. So
absolutely.
I think like you said, the time will tell, what's going to come out, in the new administration on what their policies and what their vision is for the housing market. But inevitably, the real estate market is one of the biggest drivers of an economy. We've touched on that on previous calls as well. About $55,000 to $60,000 per transaction on average in the U.S. Is put back into that economy. So the administration, the House, Senate, and all that kind of stuff is basically they're going to do their best to make sure that the real estate market is thriving. Because that's going to be a huge driver for the economy in that big picture mindset of it. I feel, and and interest rates, they're going to have to adjust accordingly, and and housing, the prices may not increase as much, but maybe they'll flatten out a little bit, as those rates. So everything works in tandem and everything goes in cycles. When I got my license in 2008 and been around it for 4 generations, we had 6,000 homes on the market, in 2008. We're at 1,600. So that's just one. That's 12 years. 14 years. Cycle through there. So it's just, I feel like me and my career have kind of gone through one cycle, and we're kind of coming on to the next one a little bit potentially. And my father's been in it for umpteen years, and, just listening to his take on things. So it's just intriguing as we go through it. So, but yeah, that anything below 4%, anything below 5% is still a great rate. And then allows you to capitalize on that marketplace. So, but is there anything you have to add to that or touch on or dovetail on?
Nope, I think you covered it very. There's no cliche that says the best 2 times to buy a home are 20 years ago and today, and there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah. What is it? Is it Henry? No, I'm trying to think. Who's the quote that you don't wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait. I'm trying to remember I can't figure out I forgot the quote on it, but I want to say Henry Ford, but I don't think that's right. But anyways, that's one of those things I kind of look at in that regard. So, Jeff, I guess, kind of on the ground level of it, what are you kind of seeing out in, the day-to-day aspect of it I know you've been fairly busy and you think your phone's been blowing up with people looking to buy, looking to sell. I guess what's your take?
Yeah, it's still out there. And to bounce off of something that's kind of already been said, but to roll with it more, Mark and I are truly here to be real estate advisors for people out there. So give us a call. Russ talked a lot about the mortgage rate and where it's at and, what that can implicate to people, but give us a call. We'll talk to you and what that means to you personally, get you in hands with Russ if need be, or, where you need to go to plan. But yeah, things, I guess, out there remain busy. Houses, if you're looking to list a house to potentially buy a next one, we're still getting multiple offers on most listings. So buyers are having to compete still. The reverse side of that, though, like we've talked about, is rates are still really low. And so buyers can still take advantage of that. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, some of these house prices right now. But, over a 30-year mortgage with the rates being where they're at, it really balances that out some. So let us know how we can help. But more than anything, give us a call and we can talk about it. If that means that you're good where you're at, awesome. But if we can help you out in any way, whether that be directing you to Russ for a refinance or whether it's time to buy the next house and move on, we can do all that stuff for you. So let us know.
Yeah, I just talked to a buddy I went to college with, and we haven't connected for a while, and just had about an hour conversation on the phone about should he refi, should he not, should he buy in 2 years, when he's probably going to get a pay increase, and it's like, what does that mean, and it's putting him in touch with somebody like Russ that can walk him through that process and say, does it make sense to refinance now if you're only going to be there for 2 years? What's the closing cost potentially going to be, or what's your purchasing power now? That if you wait 2 years and your interest rate goes up, even though your incomes may go up a little bit, but you may be able to get more house now, potentially. And so it is, like you said, it's just sitting down with our friends, clients, and referrals that we get and just figuring out what's best for them. I know Russ sat down and talked with one of my other clients, and literally it didn't make sense for them to buy a house right now. Just the way that their dynamics were set up. They're going to possibly do a VA loan, but how that kind of worked itself out, it wasn't going to make sense for them at this time. And so they decided that they're going to wait maybe a year or two. So that's something that we're not a high pressure trying to get, work on our sales and stuff. It's what's best for you and how can we help you do what's best for your family. And whether that's, getting into the first house or helping you, put yourself in position to build generational wealth, whether that's from real estate investments, in that regards. And that's something I talk to a lot of my clients on, that, hey, you got a good house right now. You have equity into it. Can you keep that as a rental? Do a cash out refinance, take that cash, now go buy your primary residence of where you want to be and move up and keep that. And if you're cash flowing $200 a month, but you're also building that equity in your old home, why not? That's just something that I think some people don't think about. And as agents, I had one of my clients jokingly go, well, aren't you talking yourself out of selling my house? Isn't that how you make money? By selling houses, I'm like, yeah, but if I can help you build that generational wealth, we can go team up and work on building an investment portfolio for you that's going to help maybe pay for your kids' college or set you up for retirement. I think those are some things and just avenues that we can kind of, explore for you. And if they make sense, great. If not, let's find something else and go from there. So, but yeah. And as always, you can jump on our Champions Real Estate Team website here and search any of those active homes on there. You sign up, basically, you'll basically register on our website. That information comes to us. We're not going to hound you in that aspect of it. We're just going to reach out and see how we can help you, maybe set up a Zoom call and go through what your wants, needs, and just educate you through the process. You got your advanced searches. We have our home buyers and sellers guide Since it loads up, yeah, right here. So you can click download those for free. Just kind of get ideas of what you need to do, whether buying a house, selling a house, and get you rolling on that aspect of it. So you have market reports. So you can click on this and I'll take you to market reports. You can sign up for that. So once a month, you can even go down to your neighborhood, and every month, if anything's active, sold, or pending, it'll email you. So you can kind of keep track of yourself, have like a, stock ticker going across your TV, but basically once a month, it'll send it out to you. So, but yeah, I think that's kind of everything I had for this week. I don't know if you guys had anything else you wanted to add going through there. So you guys have anything?
Thank you.
No, I think we're good.
So awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone jumping on. And if you're watching this at a later time, feel free to reach out to us, via Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram, even on our Champions Real Estate Team Facebook page, obviously on our website as well. My number's here, 402-672-7670. I'm happy to help you in any way, shape, or form. So thanks, guys. Take care, and we'll see you next week.